Hello everybody, welcome back to justlaravel.com. Here in this video, I'm going to tell you about PayPal payment gateway integration in Laravel. PayPal is one of the easiest way to integrate payment in your websites. So here I'm going to tell you how to use that PayPal SDK in our Laravel application. So let's get started. First, I'll create a new application. Let me fire up my terminal. I'll create a new application using Laravel new, and I will say PayPal payment. This is the name of the application, and I will just create this application. So it will install all the composer things and all. So meanwhile, I'm going to tell you about this. Now let's open this developer.paypal.com website. So I'm already logged in here. So if you don't have an account here, just sign up with PayPal here. This is the account developer.paypal.com. So here to test our applications, that means create a sandbox mode and all. So we can use this developer PayPal account instead of all the live transactions. We can use Sandbox to test our application. So these are all the docs here. In the process, I will show you all the docs, and I will tell you which doc we followed to follow all the PayPal integration things and all. So first we need to go to the dashboard and create some Sandbox accounts for buyer account and merchant account, that is the seller account. You can see here there's under Sandbox there's an icon called accounts here in the left corner. This is here in this accounts, click accounts here, and you can create two accounts here, that is buyer account and seller account. So you can already see I have these two accounts. This is just Laravel buyer @test.com, and this is just Laravel seller @test.com. These are the two accounts I created. So in order to you to create, just click this button here in the right corner, and it will ask you some details like some dummy details like email address, password and all. The main thing here is this two types, buyer account and my seller buyer account and merchant account. These are the two types of accounts. Buyer account generally means the person who is paying. Merchant account means the person who gets paid. So you can create both accounts in the Sandbox here. So I've already created. You can also, and if you create a buyer account, you can also pre-fill that card with some amount, some $5,000 or $10,000. I have already created two accounts here. These are the accounts, buyer account and seller account. So if you click this here, you can see all the details of the account. This is the dummy phone number. This is the account status, verified or not. And after creating these two accounts, buyer account and merchant account, what you have to do is you have to create an application. So it is Sandbox application, so that we can integrate that application in our Laravel applications. So under dashboard here, go to this apps and credentials, click it here. So here under REST APIs, you should create this button, create app. I have already created two apps. So if you create this, click this create app button. It will just ask you to give some application name here and which merchant account to use. I said previously we have to create some buyer account and merchant account, so you can use that merchant account here. Any of those, I have some three merchant accounts. We can use any of the merchant account we have created in Sandbox and give some application name. This is the application name I have given previously, and I have already created some applications. These are the two applications, and I think I'm going to use this application in here. If you click this here, you can see this Sandbox account, this client ID and this client secret. In the application we'll use this client ID and secret. If you click show, it will give you some something like this. We need to copy this client ID and client secret in our application and put it somewhere in probably in .env file. And then we need to do all the PayPal things. So meanwhile, let's check this application got created. Yeah, this our application got created. So I'll give PHP artisan serve, and so actually we need to go into the folder. So this is the application, we have to go into that, and then we have to run the application. Let's see whether the application is saved. The application Laravel development server started at localhost 8000. So we'll open that. As you can see here in localhost 8000, you can see the default Laravel application. So our application got created. So what we need to do is we need to install this PayPal SDK using this composer. So we'll go here and stop our server and the required PayPal REST API SDK.php. This is the PayPal REST API SDK we are going to use. We will just install it using composer. So meanwhile I will open this docs here. We'll open this docs and I'll show you the documentation for the API we are using. You'll go to all docs here, and this is PayPal REST API, PayPal SDKs, and these are the REST SDKs. And you can see we can go to PHP. As we are using PHP, we'll click PHP here, and this is the site here, paypal.github.io, PayPal PHP SDK, and just we'll see some sample code and we'll follow those practices here. So we are going to see this this is how our sample code will look like. We'll get back to this here. Now let's check whether this package got installed. Yeah, this got installed. This PayPal SDK got installed. So now what we need to do is we need to copy these credentials here. We need to copy these credentials from this here in the client ID and client secret. We need to copy them and paste them in our application's env file. So let's open our application in Sublime. So our application, this is our application in Sublime Text Editor. So what we do is in this env file we will create something like PayPal client, PayPal secret, and PayPal mode. PayPal mode is Sandbox, and this client and secret, you need to copy this from here in the dashboard. In the dashboard applications here, from here we need to copy those client ID and client secret. Actually I'll copy this and paste them here. If you create a new application, you need to place them here actually. So after creating this and entering some these ID and secrets, you just need to paste them from here. And after that what we need to do is we need to create a new file in config with name paypal.php, and let me save it. Paypal.php, and this is the config file. We here in this file we set all the parameters required for the PayPal API. So first we'll just, this is a simple array. First we'll return an array. Actually first we need to make this a PHP file first. So this would be a PHP array, and here we use this some parameters like client ID, and this we'll get this from this env file. That is the name here. We have kept in some PayPal client here, and this will be the file. This should be the name, and similar for client secret and chan mode. These are the client ID and client secret from the env file. And next what we need to do is we need some settings array. It requires some settings like which mode and error logs, which type of error logs we need to use, and we for all those things we'll use this array, settings array. And this is an array, and in this array we'll have this mode. So after mode we'll have some other parameters like HTTP connection timeout, something like that. Some HTTP connection timeout parameter, we can set that default to some 30 seconds or so. So I'll just paste all the defaults here. So these are all the default values. This is connection timeout is 30 seconds. whether the log is enabled or not. That is true. The log file name, this will be here, and the log level should be error. And save this file, paypal.php file. So until now we have installed the PayPal SDK using Composer, set up all the configuration things, and now we can go into our application, Laravel application. So first what we'll do is we'll create some basic form for the payment thing. So we'll go to resources, views, and we'll create a new file. I will name this as pay with PayPal, something like that. blade.php file. So this is the blade.php file. Here what we'll do is we'll create some basic sample form. So we got the HTML. We'll create some title, PayPal integration. Actually you can use any of the form, any form you can use. The main thing is not about this HTML design and all. I'll just find somewhere online and paste the markup here for the form in just a second. So this is the form here. I'm using this W3 CSS style form here. So this is the form which I copied from W3 CSS. This is form class, W3 container, these are all the stylings. Use the payment form. The main thing we need to notice here is the amount field. This field, the input field, this will have only one input field. This name here is amount and the ID here is amount, and this is the dummy text. And as we use W3 CSS here, we have to include those files in the head here. So now let's check this form. So for that we need to set up a root for this. In this roots web.php file, here what we'll do is, for now we'll keep this as pay with PayPal. And now if we run our application, actually we previously created file somewhere else, so I just need to place this under this views folder, resources, views, pay with PayPal. This is the file. Now if we run this application and refresh this, you can see this is the form. This is a basic form. We have this title and all. If we enter some amount or so, if you enter this amount and click pay with PayPal, it will go to this PayPal Sandbox payment page, and then rest all will be integrated. So let's do that. First let's create a controller for this. So I'll just create a controller using this PHP artisan make command, make controller. We make this payment controller or something like that. So a new controller will be created now. So we'll open that. This is our payment controller. So first thing, now we'll open this docs here, this PayPal payment docs. These are the docs. First we need to use all of these. This requires, so we'll just paste them here. So these are all the imports which we get from PayPal API. We need to use them. First we'll need to create a construct function where we reference this PayPal settings, this client ID, client secret. We can use those in this construct function, initialize those. So first create a construct function here, public function underscore construct. So here in the function we'll just also create a private variable here called API context. So this would be $_API_context. We'll get this PayPal configurations from those config file. We'll create a variable called PayPal conf, and we'll get this from this config file. This is the file we created. We will get all the values from this file. So after that, use the API context. We'll use this underscore API context, and we will set it to new API context. Actually we also need to use this API context here. I think it's not there here, but we need to use that API context here. So we need to use this OAuth token credential and API context too. Now we'll use here new OAuth token credential takes two parameters, that is the client and the secret, that we'll get from this PayPal conf client and the secret. This is the array, and we'll get this client ID here, that is this variable here, and we'll use this, and it also takes the other parameter called secret. So we copy this, and here this is the secret. So basically this is all setting up the PayPal integration config. So first what we did is we got this PayPal configuration file and set the API context. We need a OAuth token credential to connect to the PayPal Sandbox account. These are the client ID and client secrets. So now we'll set this API context. We can set the config. Set config. There is function called set config, and we'll set the config to the settings for this PayPal secret. Settings is another array here called settings, so we'll use all this here. So this basic construct function here. So now what we'll do is we'll just open the form here, this form, and here when we click this action, it says PayPal, so we'll set a root for it. This web.php root post, and that would be this what you kept PayPal, and that will set it to payment controller, and we'll create a method called pay with PayPal. So now we're going to create a method in this payment controller, that is pay with PayPal, public function. This is pay with PayPal, and here in this function what we basically do is I'll show you the docs. So here in the docs we have used all these imports. It says first we need to set this payer and set payment method, so that payment method is set to PayPal, and then we should create a new item. That means we can create multiple items, but in our sample application we just have only one. This is the only item we are selling, so we'll set it to one item. And then we need to create item list. Even it's a one item also, we need just create this item list and set the items in that array. And then details, these are the details. If we want we can do, but this is optional. I'll just ignore this thing here, and we'll set the amount. This is the USD, and this total will be coming from this form here. How much we enter, that will be coming here. And then this is the basic transaction thing, and getting the URL, redirect URL and all. So this is basically it. So we can accept these result printers. See here, accept these result printers. We can copy all these things and paste it in our application. You can see, please do not use this result printer class in your original code. So what we'll do is we'll just copy all this and explain there. So I have copied and edited the code which we need. This is the basic step. We need to get the PayPal, set pay method, and set payment method as PayPal. You can see this new item. We need to set the name, currency, quantity and all. This is the name, this is item 1, this is the USD, and this amount will be getting from this requested get amount, and that is this variable here. We have given a name of amount to this field. So when this is submitted, this action will be called, and in this action we are getting the value of the amount. And this is all basically the item list. Even it's a one item, we need to set an array like this here. See here it has two items, then it set a item list and set the item 1 and item 2, but we have only one item here, so we have set this to one item, and the amount will be USD. Then the total amount also will be the single amount, and the total amount will be the amount here, as we have only single item. And this is the transaction. These are all the methods from paper itself. We have to use those. So these are all the methods. Redirect to URL, and one thing here, I will be redirecting to some status, whether it is failed or whether it is a transaction is success or failure. We need to show some text there. For that I'm going to use this status URL. I need to create this one more URL here. That would be post and status. I will create it. I'll just redirect URLs and then payment, and the payment. This is how we create the payment. And if there are any errors, we'll put this into the session. Catch connection timeout if there is a connection timeout or some error record. All these sections will put in that. And also we need to get the this links here. After everything getting, we need to get the return URLs and all. This is basically all the code from here. We no need to change anything except here this amount we need to get from the this form, and some redirect URLs. These are the two things which we need to edit from that code. So now let me create this URL here. That would be root that would be get request get, and that we call it as status. And I will create a new method in this payment controller. That method name would be and get payment status, and we'll call this method in our controller. Sorry, we'll create this method in our controller here. So we'll close this and we'll create a new function, public function get payment status here. So now if you go to the docs again, you can see here there are before getting here there are two types of docs. If you go back here and after this step, you can see step to execute after success, that is whether the payment user is verified, payment is success and all. We need to get this if success is true, transaction is done and all. So now we'll just use this thing here, execute payment. After executing this happens after it's done to the PayPal while returning back. We need to implement this functionality here. This is also basic. You can also use all this code here. I will just use this code and edit what is needed here. So in this function, the things what we need to do is we'll get this sessions. Actually we need to implement the errors. So actually here we implemented some sessions here. So with these sessions, this session errors should be catched and showed in this view. So I'll show it later. So here we'll get the payment ID from this session which we have kept in this previous method. We'll get the payment ID. We also need to forget the payment ID. That should be only for single session. After the payment is done, we need to remove that from the session. So that we'll forget from the session, and then we'll get the payer ID. If the payer ID is empty, we will say that the payment is failed, because we need a payer ID while paying here. It is the payer ID will be set here. So if the payer ID is not there, we can say the payment is failed, and then we'll proceed for the further functions. So I'll use the if condition to check whether the payer ID is there or not. So if you input get payer ID or input get token, either of them is not there, we'll just put that error here, payment fail. And next after doing this, we'll proceed with the this documentation. This is the payment.get payment ID, payment execution, set payer ID. This for all the functions execute. After the result is approved, and here one we need to do this we need to keep this payment is success in this session. If it's fail, we will use this we'll keep this payment fail in the session. Simply instead of result printer, we'll use we'll keep the value in the sessions. So you also see payment.execute, execution, and API context. These are the functions we used here. Execution and API context, which approved, we're keeping payment success in our session, or else we're keeping payment fail. Similarly here, if it's approved, you are getting this result printers instead of this result printers. We're keeping our session things. That's it. That's the only thing here. After the payment is done, we have set it. I think everything is good to go. Let me save this and check. So this and one thing here, we need to set the sessions here. If there is an error, we need to show the error here. So basically This will be, we'll keep this in a this w3 container here. This will keep this in all this in a container. Let me format, bear with me. I'll just so, and we'll use this blade syntax. If session dot get success is there, yes, we'll set this to the variable message and we'll show that message here. That is pretty simple. Let me end if this. And in this div we'll use this some classes like w3 classes. Some success we have to set a green, that is green, that is success alert box, something like that. We'll use some classes from w3 css, the classes w3 panel, w3 green, w display container. And actually what you can do is we'll just simply, the main thing what is, we'll just need to show this message here, that's it. And remaining all this for styling this form. So when there is a payment is failed, we need to show a red colored box, and payment is accepted, we need to show a green color box. So for that, all these settings, actually we need to show only this. We no need to show this div and all. Just if there is a message session is get success, we'll show this message, and if section is failed also, we'll show the same message. I mean the other message with some classes differently. W3 panel, and this is for the close button. You'll show the message with a close button, so when it's closed it will be closed. And we'll also forget the session after showing the message. We'll forget, we'll remove it from the session. And this is one thing for success, and similarly for the fail message. And this is for the error message. Similarly, instead of w3 green we use w3 red, and we'll forget the session after that. We'll show the message. So these are the errors we set up. So this is basically it. Let me save this. This is the basic form, and this is the basic form which opens, and we after we click it will go into this payment controller, and it does all these things. When it is success, it will go to this function and will show. So, and we have set this credentials here. So let us run the application and see is everything working fine or not. Hope everything works fine. Let's run the application now. So this is the form here, and we enter some text like $25, and we'll click pay with PayPal. It should go to Sandbox PayPal. So it's redirecting to sandbox.paypal.com, and it will ask for the credentials, so we can use those dummy credentials. This is the Avinash Netherlands test store, and here we need to give the credentials of these Sandbox accounts here. Actually, where are these accounts? Actually have so these are these test buyer. We'll use this email ID to log in there with this is the test buyer account. I'll copy this and the email here, and I will enter the password I used while creating that, and I will log in here. So it says it starts for it's charging me $25 shipped on national. This simply this how the PayPal works, but the main thing here is the Sandbox thing. If we go to the account and change our application from Sandbox to live, this is how the live application also works. If you go to the apps and credentials here, meanwhile complete this. Meanwhile, let us complete this payment here. You can see payment success, and this is the thing we are decorating in the previously with all these classes and all. If you click this, of course, this is how it works. This is how we can integrate this PayPal integration. So similarly here in this applications, as I said, and if you can just with one click you can turn this from Sandbox to live, and that would be going to be live, and if you click this live here, it will go to the live application. You will need to change the credentials and you can use it in your applications. This is how basically the thing works, integrating PayPal. So pretty simple, right? And one more thing is, I will also keep all the source in the GitHub. As you know, for every project I keep all the source code with I will create a separate application and keep it in the GitHub. I'll keep all the links in the description, so please also look into the description. And also I will also make a blog post for this. As for all other videos in this channel, I'll make a blog post, a blog type post. If you are if you read the blogs and understand, and if you want to videos and understand, this is a video for you. And if you don't need anything, and if you need directly the code, I'll also post this in the GitHub. So, and for some of the videos I also keep a demo here, and for this video I'm not able to keep a demo here, in the sense demos.justlaravel.com. Suppose if you click this middleware Laravel content restriction, you can see this link, working demo. When you click this link, you'll go to this demos.justl.com middleware. I'll do this demo also for most of the projects, and for this project I think it's a PayPal integration and all. So for that reasons I am little bit I'm not keeping this as a demo here, but you can get this. I'll put all the source code in the GitHub. Make sure you check with it. And that's it for the video. And these are all the list of all the demos here. You can get all the demos here, Ajax, CRUD Operations, search functionalities and all. So that's it for the video now. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, give it a like, comment, share. Stay tuned for more videos from justlaravel.com. See you in the next video. Bye bye.
Thank you for watching. Now it's time to discover more. Simply click on the screen to subscribe to our channel, watch another video, and visit our webpage.